Good morning everyone, and welcome to another Connect Spyder video. So today I'm going for a ride up to Algonquin Park. I'm going to make a bunch of stops along the way at some little towns. I hope you enjoy the ride along with me today, and as always, thank you very much for watching. So the first part of our journey here is taking us up Highway 35, and that's going to continue all the way up to Highway 60. Highway 60 is one of the few roads, actually the only road I believe, car road that goes through Algonquin Park. And we're gonna just come up on Minden here. Just some beautiful spring scenery. The sun is just shining on those rock cliffs just beautifully. I think we're going to make a stop in Minden to fuel up. I'm not really sure where the next gas station is between there and the top of Highway 35, so better to be safe than sorry. Also planning to do a little stop at the Hawk Lake Log Chute, which has got kind of a real historical significance to this area. It was used back at the early part of the 20th century for the logging industry, and then the Canadian government sort of took over the damming of all those lakes. But I'll go into that a little deeper when we get up to the Hawk Lake. So we just turned on to what's called Big Hawk Lake Road, and this takes us up to the Hawk Lake Log Chute, as I mentioned earlier. So there is a fair bit of history involved with this area here. This log chute was constructed back in the earlier part of the 20th century, I think around 1906. And it was primarily used for all the logging operations that were going up in this area, and to allow the loggers to bring their logs down to the mills to get them cut up for lumber, etc., for construction. Around the 1920s, the Canadian government started to build proper dams up in this area to help to control the watershed coming down to the lower lakes, to try and control flooding, etc. I read that these lakes up in this area could be affected by these dams by up to 12 feet, and back in the day when they were first doing that, it wasn't much of a concern because there was no recreational use of these lakes. It was strictly for hunting camps, etc. But in the 1950s and 1960s, when the cottagers came in, there was a bit of a standoff between them and the government, and that caused them to better manage a lot of these lake levels, because these lakes are considered to be kind of the headwaters for the Trent Severn waterway, which back in the day was, you know, a navigation route for industry and logging. So this river you're seeing off here is looking pretty low right now. So that tells me, based on my other visits, that the dam up by the chute is probably closed right now, because there's very, very little water. I've seen this river just roaring down here at times, but we'll see what happens when we get up to the actual chute itself. So I'm just going to walk out on top of the dam here. So this little body of water here definitely, I know, goes up to what's called Big Hawk Lake. I've actually been up there before. It doesn't go up much farther than what you can see here. There's a marina at the end there, where I guess a lot of the cottagers park their boats and park their cars so they can go up to their cottages. There is road access to most of the cottages, but some of them might just be water access only. So right now I'm at this little pool at the end of the log chute, which you can see there. I'm just going to kind of pan over. So this is just where the end of it is, and then it carries on down to the river over there. Some absolutely spectacular rock formations up here. So I've made my way down. I'm now right beside the log chute. Pan down there so you can see the sort of underside of it. So this area right here looks pretty destroyed. I'm guessing that at some point in time some rock came off that face and took it out. But we kind of get the idea of what's going on. So we're just rolling into Dorset here. Another great little town along the way. Dorset sits at the eastern end of Lake of Bays, which is a huge lake that runs west from here right over to a little town called Baysville, and it is home to a place called Big Win Island, which has a long history of being a place for hotels and currently has a really spectacular golf course. Ooh, big bump out on the island. It's a very quaint little town. Not a whole lot to it. It's mainly kind of a cottager town. And like everything else, there's just not a whole lot going on right now. We're still another couple of weeks for things to open up a little more. I promised myself I wasn't going to talk about COVID very much, even though it has been kind of consuming our life for the last 15 months, but I'm going to try and Focus on what we're doing. That's the lookout tower up there. If I remember correctly, there's a little park down here, but I am going to stop and get a snack and have some water. Yeah, here we go. Not too many people around. This is good. So we're just coming up to the end of Highway 35 and we're going to join in with Highway 60. From this intersection it's about 35 kilometers to the western entrance of Algonquin Park. You'll see the sign. Lots of moose around this area. A couple of times when we've came through here, we've actually seen moose at the side of the road, so you never know. It always creates a distraction. So this is the views that you get up in Algonquin Park. Just non-stop, up and down, just beautiful, hilly, rough terrain. I'm so happy that someone had the forethought way back in the late 1800s to preserve this area. So we're just coming to the last little part of Algonquin Park here. This is the kind of official east entrance or exit, depending on which way you're going. that's it, the 56 kilometers of Highway 60 that passes through Algonquin Park. The next place we're headed for is a little town called Whitney, where we are going to stop and get fueled up and then figure out which route we want to take home from there. There is a couple of options of how to get back to Finland from here. I haven't just quite decided yet. So we are all fueled up for the ride home, but there's a little park just back here a little ways that I'm going to go into, and I'm going to grab some water and a last snack before I make the push for home. I'm not really quite sure how far I am right now, but far enough. But that's okay. We got lots and lots of daylight left. We're a fair bit north of where I live, and the black flies are still pretty thick out here. Anyway, we'll take a walk down. Guess I should take the key out of the bike. Oh, we got a little lake here. Got an old cannon. Let's see what this little park here is all about. Looks like a Second World War memorial. That's quite the rig. So the road I'm traveling on right now is called Peterson Road, and it'll eventually join up with another road called Elephant Lake Road. And basically what we're doing is we're now going across the south border of Algonquin Park. A little ways along here there's actually some horseback riding stables that are associated with Algonquin on the very southern end of it. This road will eventually bring us down to a place called Wilberforce, and then we will get on another highway that will take us back onto our final route home. It's called the Loop Road, and then that will join us back up with Highway 118 just to the east side of Halliburton. And then we will head back home to just north of Finland. I'm not really sure that the properties around here may be part of the area that's protected by Algonquin Park, because there is very, very little inhabitants around here. It's pretty isolated. There's lots of that kind of marshy area that I'm just showing you right now down through here. So I know I said I wouldn't talk much about it, but I am going to talk a little bit about some good news on our vaccination front up here in Ontario, Canada. I heard on the news last night, and I just want to remind you that this is the last weekend in May. Heard on the news last night that starting on Monday of next week, which I believe will be like May 31st or June 1st, anybody over 80 that's already got their first vaccine can now book their second vaccine appointment. And I believe 2 weeks after that, anybody over 70 can do the same thing. The goal of this to be that, you know, the older people can get vaccinated fully vaccinated sooner. And then it goes to a kind of a date system depending on when you got your first dose. My wife and I got our first dose on April the 19th, and I believe, if I remember correctly, we'll be able to get our second dose of vaccine around the second or third week of July, which is probably around 3 weeks before we expected it to. So this is very good news. So this is this horse area that I was talking about before. Algonquin Park guided horseback tours. So this is part of Algonquin, or the southern part of it right here. That might be kind of a fun activity to do at some point. Go for a little horseback ride in Algonquin Park. Let's keep that in mind. So just around this bend up here, I believe we're going to be coming back past Elephant Lake. This is a really pretty spot. I wish there was a place I could conveniently stop so I could take some video, especially with the drone, but there's just nowhere to stop the bike. It's all private property. Elephant Lake. So we're just coming into Wilberforce. It's always been kind of an interesting little place to me. Been through it quite a few times. Don't really quite understand, other than cottagers, what it is really here for. Might have been part of the railroad at some point in time in the past when there was a railroad, but it's a kind of a neat little place. It's like everything else around in these parts: trees, lakes, and rock. This will have been the second ride that I've done with my new camera setup. I'm really pleased with this little remote control. It has made the world of difference to my filming when I'm on the bike. I have been out now. It's about 4:30 or so in the afternoon. I hit the road today at about just around 9:30, and this little remote has been on and off all day, and it still has battery left. It is getting low, but I'm very pleased with the performance of it. Well everyone, I'm at my last stop of the day. Just about an hour or so away from home, so that will bring another Connect Spyder video to a close. I really appreciate the time you spend watching the videos, and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks again for watching.